Hi Mary, welcome to Lesson 6 of Knit of the Month Club. In this video you're going to learn how to weave in the ends of your yarn once you're done with a project. So what I have here is I have the stockinette stitch, which is knit on one side and purl on the other. And just a little disclaimer, I'm actually really bad at weaving in ends, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to link some other videos of other instructors weaving in ends, and if they're more useful, I totally understand, especially since I'm not an expert at this technique. So again, we're starting with the stockinette stitch, which is a really, really common stitch. You will be doing this at some point in your knitting life. And as we learn more stitches, I can record more videos for how to weave in the ends for those, because it does vary a little bit depending on what your pattern looks like. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to flip this over to the purl side, which is the ridgy side, not the nice side. This is typically the side that people aren't going to see. And normally what you would do is you would weave in these tail ends, but for the purposes of this lesson I'm actually going to use a yarn in a contrasting color, just so it'll be easier to see. So before we begin, I just want to orient you a little bit to the layout of this. So I'm going to stretch it and hold it closer. Can you see here how this yarn kind of weaves around itself in this sort of back and forth, up and down way? So this is what you're going to be following. Do you see that right there? I'm just stretching that so you can get a really good look. So you're going to be following the bends here. Okay. And typically you would be following it from the corner, but I'm going to, since this is a practice video, I'm going to actually do it here where you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so before we begin, just in case you're unfamiliar, this is a tapestry needle, or a yarn needle as it's also known. It's blunt, but it gets the job done. And I like ones that have large eyes. It just makes things easier. And in case threading these can be a little bit of a challenge, so in case it's a challenge, I'll show you how to do it. So what I do is I loop the yarn around the eye of the needle. I pinch, and it sort of creates a seam, or a crease rather. Pull out the needle, and then just kind of work it up between there. Get your fingernails in there, and pull it through, and leave yourself a little bit of a tail, just like with a normal needle and thread. All right, so we're going to start. We're just going to plunge right in. So you're going to work your way up here, and again you're just picking one part of the yarn and you're just following it throughout the pattern. So you're going to pull up here, and then you're going to follow this over, and you're going to go down. This is where I'm bad at it. Okay, so you're going to go down like this and pull through, and then you're going to follow this around here, through here, and up, and you're going to once again follow down through here. Is that clear? Okay. So we're going to follow it around. I'm going to do this a couple more times, and then we're going to flip it over, and I'm going to show you the reason why I used a contrasting yarn, so that you can get an idea of how well, when done right, this hides your ends. And then you're going to follow this over, down through here. And one last time, get yourself a little more room, follow this around and up through here. Okay, and then you're going to lay this down, tighten it up a little bit. I left this loose so that you could sort of see this, but what you would ideally be doing is actually tightening it along the way by just pulling on the yarn gently. Okay, so moment of truth to see whether or not I actually did this well. You flip it over, and there you go. You can hardly see it. So, sorry, phone ringing. So, and this was with a highly contrasting yarn, and you can barely see it, so imagine how well this hides yarn that matches perfectly. So once again, I will link some other videos up just to make it a little clearer. But in a nutshell, that is how you weave in ends. Bye!